Hello and welcome to the More Perfect Union, real debate without the hate. This is Kevin Kelton. A couple of weeks ago, we had on my friend Kenan Heppe, who joined us in a roundtable conversation about what was going on in his life as an American actor who's been living and working in China for the last 4 years, and then we went on to discuss the news of the week. But as so often happens, after we finished the formal podcast, we kept chatting for another half hour or so, and Greg and I learned some fascinating things about Kenan that didn't come out in the original podcast, including some of the health issues that are going on in his family, his background in music, his background in science and chemistry, and some of the acting experiences that he's had as an American actor in China. So we decided, since we're off for a couple of weeks now, to patch this together into a standalone podcast, and I think it's going to be worth your time. I know I found it a fascinating conversation, and I think you will too. So, with no further ado, here is our conversation behind the scenes with American actor Kenan Heppe. We hope you enjoy it. Kenan, thank you for doing this, by the way. I know it's tough to break away since you're at home helping out your dad during his illness. We should tell Greg, by the way, Kenan came back to the United States because his dad is right now battling cancer, and he's here to help him out.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thanks. It's stage 4 esophageal cancer. Given this situation, I mean, he's done incredibly well so far. He was weightlifting at the gym with me today.
Wow.
And he's 6 months into chemo. So chemo has been in his body for 6 months, and he's like working out.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So the doctors are a little bit mystified. Everyone's thinking, is this one of these strange miracle cases? Because, I mean, stage 4 esophageal cancer.
And he's not a smoker, right?
He never smoked.
Yeah.
And it metastasized into the liver and other areas. But they said, the doctor said 8 to 12 months max at the beginning. That was back in like December. But now I asked the doctor, I said, hey, what are you thinking? Like, are you still thinking in months? And he said, no, I think we've shifted to how many years.
That's amazing. Mazel tov.
Thanks. And I'm just trying to, I'm here for him every day I can be. And I hope what I've been suggesting is that he looks at this window of, it seems like he's purchased himself this amazing window of time, because it could come raging back.
Yeah. Sure.
And so I'm just hoping that he's just about to retire. Like, he was retiring next month. His big investment account kind of shifts over into this self-directed IRA. And I'm like, Dad, like, take your money, go do whatever you've been wanting to do. You've got this window. We don't know how long it's going to be. Hopefully, obviously, everything gets cured and you have like many, many years. But in case something comes raging back, you better just go on whatever adventure like now.
Yeah.
But when you're on chemo, do you have the flexibility to do that?
It's tough. Yeah, it's a great question. He can maybe skip so he gets a round of chemo every 2 weeks. He could maybe leave for a month. Maybe he skips around, but also maybe, I mean, he's kind of got the money. He could go somewhere and then fly back for a shot of the chemo.
I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt, but because I know that you're an entrepreneur and you're always looking for great ideas. What would be a wonderful thing?
Yeah.
If medical organizations that offer chemotherapy banded together in a way where someone like your dad, who needs a weekly treatment or bi-week or twice a week treatment, could plan a trip that they've always wanted to take and be able to use the chemo centers there.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic idea. Yeah, if there was some kind of network of this, like, we call it the dream line or something like that, where you have this itinerary and I mean, that's a great idea. And I think the interesting thing for his case is that he is still somehow physically well enough, even with all this chemo, to go and do stuff. I mean, he flew down to Mexico to see Nina and me, and he went scuba diving just a month ago.
Wow. Really?
Wow.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, his muscles have kind of atrophied. He's lost like so much muscle mass. At the beginning of his diagnosis, he could barely walk up the stairs. He was throwing up his meals. It seriously looked like he had 3 months left. And like I said, now he's like at the gym. So we'll see.
Okay. And I don't want to be melodramatic, but on some level, I'm sure you being back home and being, that close to him, that can't hurt either.
Oh yeah,
that's
I think
a huge thing.
I think so.
Well, thank you for taking, the 2 hours out that you did tonight.
Yeah, you did a great job.
Oh, well, it's a blast. Thank you so much. And you guys too. I mean, I could not have done that without you. You all are so funny, and you have great things to say. So,
well, thank you so much. Yeah. And I would, I don't know if there's an English or a subtitled version of the Mao Zedong movie.
Oh yeah, I'll send you some clips or something. Yeah,
I would love to. Yeah, I'll see if I can.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's like 1940s, because that's when the story happened, right?
Yeah.
And Kenan plays this like classic film noir kind of character. It's very interesting.
Yeah, the only sad thing about that film was that the so G-rated. They took like all the good drama out of the character's story, and my character is just kind of this like smiling doofus throughout the whole thing. It's like I'm this reporter who's going through China, meeting all these like Red Army officers, and my character has no there's no obstacle in the film. I'm just like, do I get to interview Zhou Enlai? And they're like, oh yeah, he's over there waiting for you. I'm like, yay! And then I ask this guy, I'm like, do I get to interview Mao? And they're like, oh yeah, he's in that city waiting for you. Great. It's like I'm just constantly like getting what I want. There was never any kind of like art.
Never like he's behind enemy lines, and you're like,
right,
okay.
There's never like, oh, you can see him if you risk your life first and try to save this baby or whatever.
Put on this blindfold, get in this car.
Yeah. But I did get to play a villain in an upcoming sci-fi franchise that Netflix actually just purchased the rights to film it in English. But I play the antagonist in the Chinese version. It's called The Three Body Problem. You might want to look up this book if you like sci-fi.
I do. Look at me. I'm a nerd.
Dude. Even like The Three Body Problem. It's an incredible book. And actually, Obama even recommended the book. It's an international bestseller. It's China's best sci-fi franchise, The Three Body Problem. It's a trilogy. And we shot it during the pandemic. And I play the lead bad guy, and they're editing right now, and I'm just so hoping that the makers of Game of Thrones are going to film it in English. I just hope I can be placed in there as like an Easter egg or something.
Oh, that'd be so awesome.
Even as a tiny character, just get that he was in the Chinese one. Like maybe someone can make that happen.
That would be so awesome. Billy Zane. Do you remember Billy Zane? Right?
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. Billy Zane, he started out in like Twin Peaks, and then he was in Titanic. He was the bad guy in Titanic.
That's
well,
right.
He got in trouble because he was doing all these films in like Turkey and Iraq and all these other places, and he was the American in all these Arabic countries, and he was always the bad guy.
Yeah,
and he was like, and they were like, "Yo, how can you like you are not making America look good?" And he goes, "I'm getting paid, right?" And they were, and he was like, "I really don't care. I'm Billy Zane. I don't really care."
And I'm sorry I didn't find a place to say this in the podcast, but some people. Like, obviously, I work in China. I know how a lot of people in America view China. And so I knew and still know that I will get some backlash and questions. People will say, what were you thinking being in Chinese movies? Were you making America look bad? Or what about you were like literally in propaganda? How do you feel about that? And I wrestled with this question for a while until it dawned on me. Captain America. Right. What would you think if the movie Captain China came out?
I would love it.
The idea you would, and some people would chuckle at that even idea, and I go that reaction right there. If we chuckle at Captain China, but Captain America makes sense, that is the subtlety and power of Hollywood propaganda, baby.
Yeah,
absolutely. Like that is American propaganda at its finest. The idea that so many people in the world just accept Captain America, and no one would blame me if I were in a Marvel film for being in propaganda, but we're constantly the world savior and
John Wayne movies, the Green Berets and
all this stuff. And it's like, actors are we're all just pawns in a much bigger game. Every country has their agenda. And when you're in a piece of art made by a large production company in any given country, they're going to run with, particular. I mean, we make Russians look terrible on TV. We make other nationalities the bad guys and we're the good guys. And they do the same thing.
I can't believe we didn't even get to talk about your music in the podcast, Kenan.
Oh, yeah, and you're a musician, too, I was told.
So he is, first of all, I'm going to brag a little bit about Kenan.
Yeah.
I'm old enough that I could be his dad, even though he's got a great dad. But I take as much pride in him as I would if he was my son.
Oh.
He is, first of all, he's a genius. And he'll go, shut up. But he is actually a genius. He taught himself Mandarin, right? You just decided one day that... did you take it in college or did you just learn it?
Well, I took like 7 months of an intro class in college, and I did work with a one-on-one tutor for another 6 months in China. But a large portion of it was my own pen to paper in my room. Yeah.
And Greg, when he says, he also worked with a tutor for several months in China, that's after he learned Mandarin well enough to be fluent enough to have been cast in a Chinese movie. So he's being somewhat modest. He's pretty much self-taught. He taught himself how to speak Mandarin before he ever got there. Another interesting tidbit about him. He's also a chemist, and I believe one of your degrees is in chemistry. Is that right?
Yeah, my undergrad's chemistry, yeah.
And he is a classical pianist. Now,
no kidding.
I have heard you play. In fact, I think one of your pieces came up somehow on Facebook. I don't remember exactly how. But I showed it to Jessica, who, she's big into classical music, and we go to symphonies and everything. And she was blown away by your playing. Now, let's face it, Kenan is not at a symphony level, but he's damn good.
Yeah, the music, well, thank you. The music is one of my biggest regrets because I actually never learned how to read music. I don't read sheet music.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so it's so weird. I have a very decent ear and memory. So I watch videos of people playing and I will figure out from the video what my fingers need to do.
Wow.
And that's kind of what I've done my whole life. And I love to compose too. So I have a bunch of my own music. In fact, if you go to SoundCloud and type in my name, you'll find random compositions of mine. But I never did it with music. I just hook up a synthesizer and I just kind of play whatever I'm feeling. That could have been, I believe music is my God-given greatest talent from a talent perspective. And it's so weird to me that wasn't a thing that I didn't find out I could even play piano until I was 19.
Really?
Yeah. If I had done it, if I had had the environment as a young kid, I swear I could have been one of the best, but it's just kind of I'm holding on to the genetics, I guess. And I do it's I got the party. It's enough for party tricks and whatever.
Don't underestimate that party trick thing.
Talk about party tricks. So he turned me on to a clip of his this years ago. I saw this where you were on Ellen DeGeneres. And what was the gimmick again? I'll let you tell it.
Oh, the gag. Yeah. So I'm playing a piece by Chopin called Fantasy Impromptu.
Sure.
But I'm doing it blindfolded and hula hooping.
And he played it perfectly.
Which is it's almost physically impossible. People don't it looks difficult. You wouldn't think that the most difficult part about that whole thing is the pedal. Is working the pedal while you're hula hooping. Because the pedal's like an up and down motion, and the hula hoop is perpendicular motion, right?
It's like this thing where you have to.
Yeah, if you hit it wrong once, the hula hoop's just gonna fall. And I asked Ellen, I was like, wait a second, how many chances do I get? They're like, you get one chance, bro. I was like, but what if my hula hoop falls? They're like, that's gonna be hilarious TV.
Were you standing while you did it?
Yeah. I have to lunge, so it's like this weird lunge.
Oh, funny.
Yeah. But you also play? You're saying?
Oh, I my degree's in music. I was a
saxophone.
Teacher. Saxophone. Yeah. And
nice.
I just did a wedding yesterday, actually.
Wow.
I did cocktail music. Love doing love that stuff.
So, would you like go out and just like jam jazz with some random people?
I don't do that anymore. I'm too old for that. In fact, a friend of mine just called me. He's running a jam session where he's the rhythm section.
Yeah.
He, like, come out and play. And I was like, yeah, I don't do that anymore. It's a bunch of kids who are awesome. And we have a conservatory, and all these kids are out to like just beat the piss out of each other and like see how awesome they are. And so I'm like, am I getting paid to play? And they're like, no. I'm like, yeah, I don't feel like playing Autumn Leaves for a bunch of kids, for a bunch of 19-year-olds who are out just to make me look bad. But I did that for a long time. I played in the Latin scene. I played in the rock scene. I played in the jazz scene.
That's so cool.
It was fun. I mean, now I have kids. I play about like once or twice a month.
Do they play though?
One plays bass, upright bass. And then
that's really nice.
The other one is just 12, and they play. They're hedging between drums and trombone. Yeah. They really haven't figured out what they want to do yet. They both sing in choirs. They both sing really well. They both play guitar. They both play ukulele.
Wow.
I have a studio.
Very musically diverse family. That's so
yeah.
Cool.
My wife can't hold a note in a bucket. But yeah, I mean, it's nice. I'll say things like, "I'll be gone this weekend."
Does she know that about herself though?
It's running. It's a running joke. It's like, don't sing in the car, Mom. I mean,
there are people in my family who think they understand music and can hold a tune, and they're tone deaf.
No one tells them.
That drives me nuts. Yeah, because I am. If something's just a little bit like not right, I have this sort of autistic. Like I can't deal with it.
My oldest daughter and I know they don't like it when I sit next to each other, because we will sit in a concert and just say. And she'll nudge me. She'll go, "Did you hear that?" And I'll say, "Oh yeah." And she goes, "I don't know what that girl was thinking trying to pull that song off." And I'll say, and my wife will look at me and go, "Her parents could be sitting right behind me." And I'll go, "Good. Maybe they could get the money back from their teacher, because what the hell was she thinking?
Maybe they'll learn how to raise a child right. Hit those.
Oh
notes.
My God! Did you hear that note? Oh my God!" And what was that about? How about a constant tempo? Jesus. I mean, we will kill each other. We're not allowed sitting anywhere near each other. We have actually been laughing. I mean, we're terrible. We're bad people.
Well, yeah, if you hear me play, so I am usually trying to play and execute some pretty difficult stuff. I make mistakes, but you have to give me the pass of like an idiot savant. I really don't know what I'm doing.
You know, it's amazing that you don't read music though. And I'm coming from where you are. I get it. Like I read music almost better than I actually read words at this point in my life.
Wow.
I just don't. I was just thinking about this the other day.
That's impressive, because I've seen you read words.
I know. I'm okay at it. Although I called him Kenan today, so
I can read.
Don't read words that well. So,
that's so cool.
It just becomes second nature. I get a lot of calls to sight read books. So people will call me and say, like, we've got like 2 hours worth of music. Can you?
Wow.
Yeah.
I have a symphony in my head. It's going to be like my magnum opus. Part of it's on SoundCloud. It's called The Most Amazing Journey. That part of the piano backbone of it is on there. I guess it's probably more qualifies as a piano concerto at this point. But if I get to the point where I can take just like a year off and not have to worry about work, and my fiance gets here, we can get married and get settled. If I get ever just a year, I just want to sit down and I have to get this thing out. But
so there is software out there. Okay. And if I can find it, what you do is you sit down and you go, okay, and you play it, and then the software will come out notated.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I
didn't know that.
Yeah, it's so cool. And
that's what I need to do.
And then you say click, and then it'll score it up, and you say, okay, this will be my clarinet part. Okay, great. And then this is my flute part. And then it will sync it all up. Okay, and this is my piano part because this is my piano concerto. Blah 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 blah.
Yep.
Here's my bass.
That's what I need to do. Yeah, I need to find the time to like crawl into my hole, and that's what I would do if I had a hole for a few months.
Yep, I think Finale's doing that now. I think Sibelius is doing that now. I think both those. I'm trying to remember who else is doing it. But it's super, super easy. You just have to have a MIDI keyboard.
My MIDI keyboard is.
I'm just going to interrupt. I'm going to do a Greg Matusek joke now. Okay, this would be you. Sibelius, wasn't she the Secretary of Health and Human Services during the administration?
That's a Greg Matusek joke.
Okay, go ahead. You were going to say Kenan.
Oh no. Yeah, I was saying I've heard of some of these. My MIDI keyboard right now is in China, and so all my whole life got upended with the cancer thing and some of the stuff. So it's going to be a few months yet before I can get back into that.
Okay, quick side note. So I was just talking to someone who had just got back from China, and I was at at NAMM, which is the big music convention for retailers, and they said that the saxophone right now is this huge instrument in China. Like all these families have them, and it's like. And they're like, there's the piano, and then there's the saxophone, and there's Chinese jazz, and it's like you'll hear it everywhere. And I'm like, how do I not believe you? And
I bet there's a province or somewhere where that is a big thing. I didn't see a lot of that in Beijing, but
that's what I thought.
Yeah, but to be fair, I'm also a little bit of a recluse. Like if I'm not out working or doing something for the entertainment stuff, I'm probably in my house, like working on one of these random skill things or trying to spend time with my lady. I'm not often.
So if you go outside like if you're at the local dumpling shop, I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you get recognized?
That I do. I have a lot, especially in Beijing, at airports.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes people come up and say, "Hey, I follow you." You're that guy. I have a gag, like for some reason in my videos, it's kind of the Chinese TikTok.
Yeah.
In some of my videos, I would do this really quick spin. I would like say something and then I would spin really fast, like the mask.
Yeah.
And then say something dumb right after that. And then that for some reason became a very viral thing. So now people are like, do the spin. So I end up, I'm like spinning for people on the street. That's like become a thing. It's so weird.
That's so awesome. That is so awesome.
Yeah, they're like, 给我们转圈儿. That's how they do the spin for me.
That is so awesome. I'm big in China.
I found it funny that you said it's the Chinese TikTok. Isn't TikTok the Chinese TikTok?
Yeah, TikTok's owned by China. Goodness.
Yeah. No, huge in France, I think is what you were alluding to.
No, there's a band called there's a band called I think it's called Big in Japan.
Big in Japan.
And that's their name. They're big in Japan. And oddly enough, they're huge in Japan. They're big in Japan. It's a band from the 80s. But yeah.
Well, yeah, I said China. Yeah, because in Chinese, it's called Douyin. Over there it's called Douyin, but over here it's called TikTok. So I ended up just saying the Chinese TikTok. Because if I say, "Oh yeah, I'm on Douyin," people are like, "What are you? Yeah. Did you just have a seizure?"
I had a friend. He's still a friend, but he was in kind of a heavier band called Rebel Sons, and they had one or two medium-sized hits, but they were huge in Germany, just huge.
Wow.
And so they would come here. No one knew who they were. They would record, do everything in California, and then go spend 8 months in Germany.
Touring.
Germany, Netherlands, tour, come back for 4 months, and then record something, go back. And he finally quit, and he was making a massive amount of money being a rock star.
It's fascinating. Yeah, an unknown here, but well known somewhere else. It's people here. I mean, our industry is a little bit closed off. We're not exposed, and it's like if someone's not famous here, it seems like they're not famous or don't have entertainment value anywhere. But there are some stars in China who are more famous than Brad Pitt or Angelina Jolie are, and get paid way more, and you have no idea who they are, but they live these insane lives, and
just like that big in France.
Yeah, and there are some people a few Westerners, kind of like myself, who like there's this one guy, Jonathan, who's been in like 100 Chinese movies. He's been there for 25 years acting. Really? And he was a student at NYU, and he went over to China in like the 90s, and he's like the OG original foreign actor dude, and he's very well known over there, and he's bought a house in Barcelona. He's bought a hotel in Marrakesh.
Oh my gosh.
Bought an apartment, a high-rise apartment in Beijing. I mean, he's so successful. He's done nothing here in America, but he's had this incredible life. He's now he's turning 48 soon. And,
I'm turning 48 soon.
And
damn.
It's
so am I.
It's crazy.
All right.
Yeah.
It was great meeting you. Thank you so much for all your help.
Thank you.
And you guys have a great night.
Hey, you too. Okay, well, yeah, thanks so much. Tell Jessica I said hi, by the way.
Will do. Absolutely. Talk to you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.